like somebody.
Yeah.
They're like, my fucking helmet got a B this time, and I was like, well, do better, I guess. That's funny as shit too. I like that it kind of came out to an extent of like, you turn something. Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of Recon Roundabout. Today, our special guest is Postal. And, of course, on my side, we have Loki as always. Postal, if you want to say hi.
Hello.
And then we're going to go through a couple things that I've written down here, Post, because I think that before we were kind of getting everything set up, you mentioned something that was honestly really, really, really cool to me, which is your C-shops. But it's not just your C-shops, because you're really into audio engineering and I guess what you said, sound design, like in general. Yeah. So I think that over just about anything else is probably one of the coolest things I've heard from C-shops, because I didn't know we did that.
So we this just kind of happened recently. Canon black bagged me, and we are now in the phase of editing our sound effects to make things sound cooler.
So, I mean, what do you use? Like, how do you do it? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no fucking idea.
Software,
yeah. So there's a couple there's like many softwares to edit sound with.
Okay.
A few of them off the top of my head, there's Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton, and Reaper. Those are like pretty much the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
All of those cost about $200 or more.
Yep, I know that.
They are expensive as hell, but they are amazing. You can pretty much do whatever the hell you want to a sound file.
Why do they? Is that like $200 like flat out?
For Logic it is, but that is Apple only, so you have to buy like a MacBook or something.
Ew.
Along with it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is actually disgusting. I'm not a big Apple kind of guy on that. I do own an Apple phone. I have an iPhone.
Yeah, so but unfortunately that's how the sound industry is, the soundscape industry, sorry. Pretty much any movie that you've ever listened to or watched has probably been done in Pro Tools. That is the industry standard digital access workstation, DAW for short. But yeah, they're pretty much, that's pretty much the industry standard one, and that one was also mostly done on MacBook and like those
I wonder
computers.
I wonder how that originated though.
How it originated?
What crazy contract did Apple secure?
Yeah.
For that to be a fucking thing.
So Pro Tools isn't just Mac. However, the way that the industry developed for sound, Mac computers just had more at the beginning. Like at just starting off, they just had more than a Windows computer could ever do while they were developing this software and stuff. So they just kind of leaned towards that. And honestly, it's just pretty much everyone in the sound industry uses a Mac computer.
Yeah. Dude, that's big fucking money, dude. Those things are not cheap.
Yeah,
I know
we
don't really ever talk about it, but I'm just kind of curious. So the $200, does that come out of our unit fund or does that come out of your pocket?
Oh no, I've already got them.
You've already have it. So
yeah, I had them from my college, which is where I'm learning to do this. Oh,
perfect. So yeah, you're set. All right.
Yeah. So the only one that is $200 flat is Logic. Everything else is, I think Pro Tools is around $200 a year or 3 years for a license. And that one just keeps that one you have to subscribe to it. It's kind of like Adobe's products.
I hate that. I really hate that we've kind of evolved into this weird subscription service situation that we're in now. I feel like it's so weird.
It's just like microtransactions, it's still like a burden to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what was it? Squad is now getting a big bad rep now because the company just now decided to put microtransactions into its game.
No shit.
No, that's
What?
not
Yeah.
good. What?
How? Why? What are they micro?
So-
What are they putting in?
Yeah.
They're like in their because of course Steam calls it their spotlight.
Oh, emotes.
Emotes, yeah. So you can it's third person emotes too. So
Mm.
anytime you do, so there's there's gestures and there's emotes. Emotes go into third person, I guess, and gestures are like rock on or whatever, peace sign, whatever. People are like, this is just game breaking. This doesn't feel like squad anymore. Blah blah blah.
So you can like bust it down dirty in the middle of a
I
firefight.
guess
You
sooner or
can
later you'll
bust
be able
it
to do it.
in the middle of a firefight. You just stand up on
You
the
just
top of
start
the hill, start
Fucking hitting the
whip.
gritty. You
Yeah,
kill
just
you
fighting
kill a
them
terrorist and
inside.
then you hit a giddy.
Yeah.
Hit the fucking gritty real fast. Hey,
Yeah,
man.
they'll add in like the kill cam too, so like kind of how Battlefield does, so you can just look at the person while you're
and he's just like,
trying to
oh
respawn,
man.
and he's just hitting the gritty.
He's like, you don't gotta do that to me, dude. That's
It's
fucking
so
crazy.
great.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't
god,
know.
that's
It
amazing.
is definitely just the society we're in. Yeah. Subscriptions and microtransactions will always be around, it feels like.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
I
Just
feel
can't
like,
shake 'em away.
Yeah, not anymore. I feel like you really kind of saw that rise happen like a couple years ago, and now we're just kind of like in it. You know what I mean? Like too deep. Dude, I
Yeah.
mean, like, I
Yeah.
don't, but the thing is I feel like in one case, I get super angry because I'm like, why would a game ask you for more money? But then the thing is if I really like the game, then I'm like, yeah, sure, take my fucking wallet. Because
Any
it's like,
Destiny 2 player ever?
yeah, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no Destiny player likes Destiny, by the way. I don't, no Destiny players like, I really love everything about this game. Like, no, it's just like Dark Tide, you just have people that fucking are just in it to win it, bro. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Fucking Jesus. I don't know, man, but it's crazy, dude. It's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I guess the only time I actually hate it is when I don't like the game. It's like I fucking
Yeah.
hate playing the game, so why are you asking for me for more money? But like, I can't really talk shit because even in Dark Tide, I was like, how much is this skin? $20?
Yeah,
That's okay. It's a pain.
That's kind of the thing that I had with Siege.
Speaking of low price games, have you guys seen the $30 game that just came out, High Five Rush?
No.
High
That
Five
rhythm
Rush?
game? You guys really haven't seen anything about that?
High Five Rush?
Okay, so it came out
Oh, Hi-Fi Rush.
because
Okay.
today's Saturday. So it came out 3 days ago. Never talked about until it
Hi-Fi?
just got released. Yeah, it should be on the front page of Steam. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. It's a rhythm action game.
No shit. It looks kind of
but
like
Already sold over 1 million copies in 3 days. Like,
no shit.
people really, really like the game. It's just a,
Yeah.
but people are also just shocked because, like, in this day and age, you have to talk about your game in order for it to be successful. Game just released, people fucking loved it.
Dude, you know what's funny is what is it? It's made by Bethesda too. Holy shit.
Yeah, the publishers Bethesda and the development company was like some random out
Tango
of pocket.
Gameworks.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
it right now. Overwhelmingly positive. 2,307 reviews, and it
Yeah.
overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah,
It's $30 too. Holy shit, that's
Yeah.
not bad at all. I might have to buy that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it
Dang.
seems like it runs really well. I'm looking at this review, and it's talking about the fact it's on a 2070.
Yeah, it's not very
And
demanding.
it runs at like 165 frames. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Unique for the other games that have come out. Forspoken.
Forsaken.
No, Forspoken.
Forspoken.
Oh,
is-
Forspoken.
Dude,
Forspoken,
I
you're
watched
right.
Moist talk about that. Fucking worst game ever, he says. Like, it
Yeah,
is
you
fucking,
need a
it-
3070 to run it.
on for fucking 50 frames. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Well, I feel like there's a lot of contradiction coming out recently because, like, it's a good segue into this, but Dead Space, the remake, because EA, I remember them saying that they said single player games were dead. And
Yeah.
then the
Oh,
remake
yeah.
of Dead Space comes out and everybody's like, fucking head over heels for that fucking thing. So it's like, no, it's crazy that the contradiction of a $30 game that's made pretty well is selling a fuck ton of copies in what you said 3 days, which is a massive contradiction to what companies are trying to do now. And then on top of that, you also have Dead Space coming out, which is a massive contradiction to the fact that EA thinks that single player games are dead. When I'm pretty sure it's probably I would argue, and maybe I'm sure I'm not right, but the Dead Space remake probably will end up selling more than Battlefield 2042.
For sure.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Because like the thing is like I almost bought it last night, and like I was saying before we started this, I was like, I think I'll be okay, like la la la, and then like my phone heard me, and now it's like, well, this review and this review and this gameplay of it and that gameplay of it, and like it looks crazy better. Like it just looks like they were able to do what they originally intended to do with Dead Space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have so much more like horror and shock and awe of it, and like it just looks better. Like shadows, lighting, steam, water, just fucking better.
Yeah, the take that I saw on Twitter was that it was they knew where to like fix it up and where to leave it like alone.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I used to be pretty opposed to like remakes because I think it was just like a money grab for games that people liked, Or no, I'm sorry, not remakes, remasters. I hate remasters. I mean, it might be a hot take, sue me, but I hate.
No,
I
understand that feeling. I mean, like there is some good remasters, and then there's some just like, why would you?
Yeah, it's like, why are you doing this? Like, when they originally remastered Last of Us like a year and a half after it came out, and like, it was the same game, and I was like this is a waste of money. Because you should be like improving, because I mean, like they probably should have spent that money on like Last of Us 2, whatever.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of like the Morbius re-release.
Yeah, it's like why? Like you're just releasing the same thing that looks maybe a little better, but like remakes honestly have always seemed to be better. At least when it comes out to remakes that are far and few between. Because, like, Dead Space 1 came out when? Like, fucking...
2006? I know, somewhere around when I was... Maybe that's too way back.
Dead Space Wiki. We're pulling up.
Dead Space Wiki.
2008.
Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah.
And so, Dead Space came out in 2008, so they're remaking it in 23, and like the game looks fucking spectacular, and like that's the remakes I'd like to see. You know what I mean? That's like the good fucking content, but like, you do have that problem where like games will just remake the games, like even I'm like hesitant because I want to buy. They call it Last of Us Part 1 now because obviously they called the second one Part 2. But Last of Us Part 1 is a PS5 remade version of, the Last of Us game, just with, like, improved things, But it's the same game, whereas in Dead Space, it is a different game. Like, you're not experiencing much of the same things. You'll see the same beats, like, obviously, like, Isaac shows up to the fucking Ishimura, la la la. But, like, one from the gameplay I've noticed, it is totally different. So, like, I would like to see more remakes of old games as long as they're doing it in the context of taking what was and making it even better because now they have the ability to do that.
Yeah. That's how I kind of feel with, like they remade the first Mafia game. And that was really good.
That was really good, yeah.
I think retelling Tommy Angelo's story was definitely, like, a really good part on it.
I agree. I think that, it's just in the realm of what I'm talking about, too, but, Jesus. But, so, going back to the original topic of Postal being, Postal.
A godly man of the sound, yes.
I'm here.
You are not just a guy of sound design and enjoyment. You also were basically given your own subsection of a C shop, just like kind of the podcast was, where you presented the idea, and now you kind of are tasked with doing it. And if for everybody that doesn't know, where people are listening, we have a tier list of helmets now, And I mean, do you want to kind of go through how that started?
Yeah. So to begin with, it was just kind of like, I'll be honest, kind of just spontaneously started one day. We kind of so it was back maybe a year ago at this point. We everybody just started making helmet tier lists because somebody started it like as a joke. And then I just ran with it along with like several other people, but mine were apparently consistent enough that Rat, who's no longer with the unit, thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And so he made it a C shop in C3.
Dude, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it 1.5 billion times, but people like actually care about what you say. Like, and I thought it was a joke when it first came out. Like, no,
I did too.
Yeah, I was like, haha.
It was intentionally a joke for the longest time. Yeah, it was just like people started taking it so seriously, and I was like, damn, I guess
people were trying to actually make better helmets. I was like, oh my. All right.
And yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, every time you release one, I hear about it through like somebody. Yeah. They're like, my fucking helmet got a B this time, and I was like, well, do better, I guess. That's funny as shit too. I like that kind of came out to an extent of like, you know, you turn something just like the podcast that was kind of just like a joke dream, just something interesting to do, to like an actual like part of the unit now. I mean, because how long have you been doing that for?
At this point, I'd probably say legitimately for around like 6 months ish.
Yeah, actually, yeah, sounds right.
That's pretty cool, though.
That also includes my disappearing from the unit for that long time as well.
Don't worry.
But yeah.
We got returning members. Just like the other day,
Smig.
Smig
is back.
Smig came back.
I was there when they just the papers in too.
I missed that guy. It's been a while.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. I'm part of a Discord that he's in. I just, you know, I get home and I don't even like want to fucking talk to people sometimes. So it's not somebody's fault. It's just I don't.
You're just like, I'm peopled out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready. I just want to chill.
Same here.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm glad he's back though. I'll have to find him and talk to him.
For sure.
Because I've always loved talking to him, so I'm glad he's back. I think we do have a couple too, because like Postal, you came back.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that did return with you. I don't even remember who it was exactly. I just remember hearing someone talk about it secondhand, so like it's all fucking.
Yeah, same here. I remember a couple people joining back similar times to me, but
like on top of that too, we have a lot of new members. You know, and
yeah,
like,
we do.
I'm really glad that we actually have like a lot of like new interesting people, and bless his heart, there's been like 2 or 3 of them that has joined because of our podcast, and that is the most over. I can't even think of the word. Hold on. It's like, it's just overzealous. It made me so happy that you know that like people heard us and they're like, I actually want to join the unit, because like I usually don't look at our videos after they're posted, like because I kind of like just do this because personally I think it's fun. You know what I mean? Like I just like doing this.
Yeah, so that's what I do with a lot of sound effects. Sometimes I just put them in there and I'm like, I don't want to listen to this anymore.
Yeah, right. You're just like, yeah, that's good. No, you're like, you did it. You want to move on. You know, so on. So. I mean, like, you know, I'm glad people join. I'm glad people listen to this stuff. I'm glad there's some relative enjoyment. But, I mean, geez, I don't know. I mean, like, so you're going to school, Post, for audio engineering?
Yeah, so I'm going to school for, specifically, it's a Bachelor in Recording Arts. And it basically covers everything to do with the soundscape in film and music.
Ooh.
So currently I could mix an album and like, you know, make that for somebody. I can't do the album because I'm really shit at making songs, but I can help somebody perfect their sound if they wanted to.
So you become more of a publisher?
No, so
No, okay.
the way the industry works, usually record labels are your publishers.
Yeah.
Mixing engineers are hired by record labels or the artist to basically work that sound into something that can be released. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the industry, a lot of movies and music actually have like a very strict set of rules on how to deliver the files and the
Oh, I'm
levels of
sure.
what you hear.
In what
Yeah.
in what manner do you mean? Like what do you mean like the
So
strict set of rules? Like
so if you want to release it, so there's like a national standard pretty much where it comes to whenever you're making a song, you have to make it at a certain volume level for it to be like actually usable,
okay.
stuff like that. And it's very interesting the way you have to do that because some things or some streaming services are completely different in how they change audio. So like if you
One
had
will be louder than the other.
yeah, if you had a track on like Spotify and Apple Music, it'll sound different on both platforms just
Interesting.
because of how they process things and like level up the volume or down the volume because that's just how it was mixed.
I've
That
never
is
done
really
that.
interesting though. What made you like originally want to like do that? Like why'd you start going to college for it and stuff?
To be honest, it was Star Wars. I
Oh.
really like I watched ever since I
Deadass.
watched the Clone Wars, I've been just like dead ass, literally dead ass. Uh ever since I watched the Clone Wars, I'm like I want to make these sounds. And it was just, I started exploring it more and more and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Uh but yeah, so, I've been going about it and just trying to learn how to make these sounds. It's very interesting how they make certain sounds like what is it, Godzilla's roar. You ever heard about that? The way they made it was like they had like a I think it's like an elastic glove or something, something like a surgeon would wear.
Mhm.
And they rubbed that against like a guitar string, and that's how they got like the initial portion of Godzilla's roar.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what? Fucking TIE fighter sounds.
Yeah,
Actually, I remember hearing. I don't even know how they got that sound, but it's that and lasers. They would hit power cords or something like that, like off like a
yeah.
fucking
So
yeah, and it would be like
so out where they did the recordings for the studios, they had like this radio tower that was being held up by tension wires, and so they would hit that with like a wrench,
Oh.
and that's how they got those sounds for
You
the
know, actually,
blasters.
you saying that
That's
now,
so
I can
cool.
actually picture that. Like, I can
like
actually. Like,
pew, yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
hold on.
Yeah.
That does make sense now when you say it, cause like, yeah, huh?
Yeah,
Huh.
so that's how they got that.
That's pretty fucking cool.
How they did Darth Vader's breathing was also interesting. They actually had like a what type of, it was like some kind of like corrugated tube or something. So it was but like they had James Earl Jones speak through that, which gave it a little more of a robotic effect to it.
Yeah.
And the cool part about this stuff is like back then they didn't have any way to edit the sound, so what you were hearing was exactly what they recorded.
Yeah, I was
pretty
just gonna
much.
say that must have been hard back then, cause yeah, 'cause you can slap reverb or like any kind of weird effects now on like any kind of like audio file.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Back then though, that would be
That is interesting. That's
Crazy.
smart though on their part.
that's pretty cool. I mean, like yeah. I think that definitely back then it was like you're out here trying to fucking put together some crazy nonsense.
oh, and especially
Yeah.
R2D2 was really cool. So the way they did R2D2, they had a synthesizer which were relatively new at the time.
Yeah.
And what they did was they blended that with like it was like 50% synthesizer and 50% like the audio engineers speaking like baby language. They kind of like they
Interesting.
combined it into
Yeah,
this like together,
Hmm.
and that's how you
Interesting.
got like a more. It sounded robotic, but it sounded like also like you could it was like humanized a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
So it kind of like blended that together.
That's
it
pretty
was just
cool.
really dope. And if you guys didn't know, the original synthesizer for R2D2 still lives. It's in some I think his name's Deadmau5. He's a EDM producer.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
owns it. It's just in his it's just in his mansion.
I bet that
Word.
would be something he would do. That sounds like.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
does
so
sound pretty cool.
It's
Dude,
really cool.
sound design is fucking dope. I mean, like,
yes,
like
it
I
is.
said, I'm deaf on my right side, so like it sounds cool, but like, I can't hear anything,
You're like,
so it doesn't
"What?
matter. Yeah, huh?
Sonny.
Yeah, you're like, do you
I
like
can't
this
hear
spatial
you."
audio? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm
So
only
is that
getting
why you
shit
don't
out of my
ever
left ear.
you don't ever hear certain people in ops when you're like, "Hey, I need a medic over here." And you're like, "What?
Yeah, that's exactly
You
why.
you want Bacta?
Bacta,
You need
Bukta,
blue juice?"
blue? I just throw it on the ground. Yeah, you figure it out, man.
You got CLS, right?
Yeah, you guys
Figure
got
it out.
it. Yeah, you 100% like got medic training probably.
You
So,
got
like,
it. You know what to do.
Yeah. Without any help, I will not give you any tips. I'm just gonna actually stand there and watch you.
Oh goodness. Speaking of CLS, have we ever talked about that whole new introduction?
No, actually.
I've been gone for one episode, so I don't know if we ever
No,
talked
I mean,
about it.
Cross's episode, we really spent a lot of time just talking shit about, like, just life, I guess. Because, like, I don't know. No, I mean, like, honestly, I guess for people new to the unit, or I guess just anybody in general, like, now, as far as medic stuff is concerned, because I'm platoon medic, we have now kind of deviated into this, like, secondary, like, concept that I guess most of Gark does. Or something like that. The Hunter First does, I know for sure. Yeah. But essentially, we've split it up. So now you get medic training, and you're not just like into the medic kind of like loop. You have to kind of go through more hoops. So like you have CLS so that everybody can get it. But if you want to be a certified medic, there's more steps to go through now because we've kind of made it. We've not made it harder. Like I don't think in any way it's actually more difficult. It's just like. People that want to be a medic have to go through a little bit more of an understanding of, like, refinement, I guess, if that is the easiest way to quantify it without actually, like, going into details I don't think people really care to listen to. It's just kind of like, if you want to be a medic, you have to, do a little bit more work because, like, I think CLS also, there's a lot of other qualifications and, like, jobs in the 91st that require a medic qual that not only require a CLS qual. Like, what's it fucking called? Crew chief.
Yeah.
Is a good one that like really is awesome that CLS helps because now you can just do that, have CLS, and then move on. You know what I mean? Whereas like before, it was a bunch of hoopla to get into that kind of position. But like, unfortunately we had to push Ace Pharmacy back, which I want to 100% say I am not the person to talk about pharmacy.
Because, I've tried to dive in a little bit to get some more knowledge about it, but it's definitely still the Ace idea. Just we have a few more components thrown inside, just like bone breaking and just like bullet,
like I can explain that. I just like it. I wouldn't. It just adds more. Yeah. Because essentially what it does is it's going to add, like, now you can put, like, IOs and intravenous stuff so that you can put fluids into other places. You know what I mean? But, like, a lot of that very integral technical work is just kind of beyond me. I just know how it functions at a base level to do what I need to do as a medic. And, but, like, for that kind of more technical side, that's way over my head. But it's just, I like it. From the training we spend and the things and just the exposure to it, I really enjoy it. I can understand why 100% people think that it's complicated, though, because it is. And, like, I guess if a medic does not do their job properly, it just makes you waiting to get up even longer.
Yeah, of course. Like, especially in Monka, I have to make sure Sound knows what he's doing because, we're a QRF element. If my Monka medic... Or Monka Mike, I guess that's
whatever.
That's what we refer.
Yeah. Monka person.
If he can't help get up that mass cas or help assist more medics in the field, then I mean, what am I doing?
Yeah, you're up shit's creek, and and I think that's why I get why people are kind of like pushing back against it, because like I totally can see it. It's just like I think that for the base trooper it shouldn't affect anything. And like our medics, I think every medic we bring in to get billeted is, I wouldn't say vetted, but like pretty well trained and like
they got that common
conceptualized.
sense
Yeah,
and
and
so,
like well like
sensibility.
because like I think that's something that people don't understand on the back end is that like when we do this stuff, we as like a group of medics between like Trill, Snapper, and I have that discussion and decision. Like it's not just like Trill deciding, it's not just me deciding. You know, like we all kind of operate on like a group. So like the thing is like if we are unconfident of somebody, and we're like we're not mean, because like we'll definitely like go out of our way to make sure that everybody is helped to the extent, you know, that we can give them. Like if you need help or if you have questions, we're always here to help. But it's just like, you know, we do put our foot forward of like, this is what we're billeting for a medic, and if we all agree this guy is good for a medic, then he 100% is. Like, you know, you either have the faith in that you're going to be a good medic or not. And I think I think I really enjoy that because you know, it means that the medics coming in are like trusted by all of us. It's not like some of us don't, some of us do, because like we don't, we'll have that discussion of like, well, why, you know, and then how can we remedy that issue. So I think that most people that are stressed about Ace will find that it's not going to be a problem at all. I can't remember for the life of me why Trill pushed it back though.
I think it's due to a lack of testing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I know that like both I go to college, Trill goes to college, you know what I mean? So like we're busy, and like I work full-time job too, so we're just kind of busy as shit all the
Man,
time.
I wish I could work a full-time job, but with this schedule that I have, no, not possible.
I just dude, like it's like literally I don't go to college full time, and I think that's the only way that I've gotten away with working full time. You know, is because like if I wanted to go to school full time, I could not ever work. What is it? Like if I wanted to go to school full time, I couldn't work also full time. That would be crazy because I can only go to class 3 days a week. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fucking homework and shit and studying and all that shit too. So it's like three classes is crazy.
Yeah, I go to school pretty much full time.
That's cool. I mean, like, dude, like it's. I wish I could, you know. I can't, and like.
I don't think you do. I don't think you.
Yeah, well, like, dude, I want to get it done because, like, I just want my master's and I want to be like just done with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
I just want to be done.
I had one day that was like 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. Yeah. That day was intense.
He's not wrong. There is classes like that. I recently just got out of full time. I'm gonna go to part time now. Cause yeah, just like you said, like I gotta make some money, man. Bank account looking a little zero. But yeah, no, there's always dumb hour classes like that. Yeah, like 6:30 in the morning to like 4 in the stupid afternoon. Maybe it's like a lecture hall or something dumb.
Oh, I don't know if you heard me. I said 7 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh my.
A.M. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That day was insane. I had a lecture at 9 that I had to get ready for. So I went. I did that. That lasted till 1 p.m. Then I did a lab from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then I came home, and my my ex roommate, because I live alone now, he called me up and he was like, "Hey, we have sound to do for this film. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And not to mention then he spent from 8 to midnight at my place recording sounds for it. Then I had to work on them from midnight to 3 a.m.
You know, and it's crazy that we still all get on to playing up.
Yep.
Which is the funniest part.
I think that was on like a Thursday too.
Well, like it, you know, sometimes it fucks myself up, but like I really do when I get into like TeamSpeak and like shit like that, I semi shut off my brain. Like because I'm like just kind of like this is like me relaxing. You know, like if I can relax, I'm gonna fucking just chill out. I don't, you know, even if I do have some relative responsibilities, it's just like, you know, this is the only time I have to fucking chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Good. I'm good. Honestly, I think that on it, but like at the same kick, like I would rather that like you, Loki, post, you guys actually do that because like I feel like it's just, as much as it's ass now, all of us are probably, in like 2 years or 3 years or whatever, are gonna have so much better lifestyle because of it.
Oh, definitely.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, at this day and age, like, dude, getting apartments or houses, fuck, jeez, oh my god, the housing
yeah,
market,
dude.
especially around where I live, it's awful, man.
It's no better over here.
Oh
No.
yeah,
I mean, like
US right
you
now,
get
it's
your
everywhere.
masters, you get your whatever, and you get your degree, and you start making that like money, and you actually make like the movement to actually do that. It's awesome.
Oh, dude, I wish I'm gonna have to move to LA for my job.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really sucks because the sound industry is still pretty much only LA, at least if you want to get a job at like one of the big area publishers. Sorry,
Okay,
forgot the word.
you can't do that. I feel like, I guess I feel like you could do that. What's the word? I'm sorry, I'm blanking. It's
Remotely?
Like, remotely. Thank you. Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
it depends. It really depends, especially for what you're doing.
Mhm.
If you're working for like Warner Bros. Or Skywalker Sound, which is the guys who do pretty much all the Pixar movies now,
Mhm.
they really don't like sharing things over the cloud because that shit gets like immediately
Stolen.
people
Yeah.
will like grab at that shit as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That's true.
Especially music and stuff. Like if you're working on like we'll roll back to like 2014. Just if you were working on Kanye's album, people would want that shit. People were trying to go
That's
back
fair.
to like
So
trying
you
to
usually
steal that
roll
shit.
with like
Yeah.
So
yeah, I
so
get
you
it.
would always like you would never transfer the sound files over because people could steal that and then upload it.
Kind of similar, kind of close to this idea. So, with criminal justice, I've been everywhere, kind of. So, around where I live, we have a thing called Crisis City, and it's a place where you can do all sorts of scenarios and situations, and it can be military that can go in there that one day, it could be law enforcement the next. But we also have a National Guard like testing facility where they just drop bombs or test out cool equipment or whatever. You cannot. I found out the other day because they apparently used to have the rule of Crisis City, too long ago. But you can't have certain like film equipment or certain stuff inside of that American property because of the components made inside that are like from China and other places. And like, well, you never know. Could have something crazy in it, and now they have access to this area and they've seen something. I'm like, what? That's so like
Oh, yeah.
weird
Makes
and
sense.
crazy.
And
But I was
then-
like, all right, you do you, government.
I mean, I guess I get it. I'm not.
Yeah,
knocking
right.
it.
You kind of get it, but at the same time, you're like, what?
Well, specifically like for filming and microphones, yeah, you don't want to have something that you don't trust there because that shit can transmit miles.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Hey, by the way, just to switch gears, for like, because I just noticed this. If you pre-order Hogwarts Legacy, because I know you brought that up, you can play it 3 days early.
Oh yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the thing now?
72 hours early access.
Oh heck yeah!
That's
I'm
what it
so
comes out the
excited.
10th, so you can actually
Postal's
play it
already
the
ready.
7th.
He's getting
I'm
it
so
downloaded.
ready. I cannot wait to. Did you guys see the Twitter thread, or not
No.
even the Twitter thread? It's the news that you could
Oh,
torture and
yeah,
kill
torture
other
kids.
other
Oh my
kids.
god.
Yeah, dude,
I
I
was like, damn.
I probably will end up just waiting, till 72 hours. Because what? It comes out the 10th, so 72 hours is 3 days, right? So
Yeah.
10,
Yeah.
9, 8, 7. So the 7th, I'll just buy it on the 7th. And then
Dude,
just download it and play it.
it's just gonna be full of like menaces in that game. Just
Dude.
like people will like get hurt.
Oh yeah,
People will die.
I am
This-
like almost exclusively running like curses. and shit.
This game, I really, with all of my heart, hope it succeeds.
Yeah,
I hope so.
really,
It does
really,
too.
really,
It looks
really do.
very promising for a game.
the
I
only
know.
two things that it's missing for me are Quidditch and co-op.
True, right? Like there's really no like hint or like idea
But
there.
I feel like, okay, Quidditch is fair. I just feel like with the amount of shit that you can do though, you're gonna be occupied with other things. Maybe.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's
I just
fair,
feel
but
like Quidditch is a good ask. Maybe they'll release a DLC.
yeah, probably. I mean,
Probably.
if it sells really well, they're gonna be asked to add a bunch of shit.
And but what else did you say? Quidditch and what?
Co-op.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
obviously, yeah, that's a really huge ask, but honestly, I just want to explore the world with friends, you know?
But I feel like that's the epitome of RPG games, just like in general. Because like it'd be cool to play The Witcher co-op. I think most every RPG game that I've ever played, I would wish that it was co-op. I don't think there's one that I've ever touched. But like the thing is just like you play like ESO instead of like Skyrim, and you wish Skyrim was co-op, but ESO is like such a different ball game.
Well, yeah, the way that ESO works is it's more of an MMO rather than
Absolutely,
an RPG.
but I just
know?
I don't think that you could have like co-op RPGs. I don't know why. I think it's just
you can. So,
absolutely. I mean, I guess technically, like speaking, yes, you can, but it's just like
here, let me give you an example. Arguably, I think that Assassin's Creed Unity would have been the best Assassin's Creed ever if they
Right?
just actually worked on it instead of releasing
exactly.
it like
I
2
agree.
months after they've started producing it.
I really do agree with you there.
Dude,
'cause
you
I
go
talk
back
about
and
that
play
a
it
lot with my
now.
buddies too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have it still. Like I love like sometimes I'll just like beg people to get on because it's one of my favorite Assassin's Creed because you could go around the city with your buds and just
Yeah.
go start murdering people.
Yeah, and it just comes back to the company who made it. Like
Ubisoft.
such a good concept idea. They have so many wonderful ideas,
Yeah,
and then they can't execute it quite properly. And
yeah. Honestly, same with like every Ubisoft game that's ever come out ever since
Oh my
Black
God.
Flag.
No,
to be
you know
honest.
what? Yeah, I was gonna say okay because I think Ubisoft used to execute to a T.
Yeah, Black Flag was that when that came out, that was fire.
it was. I did.
You know,
like that.
I
And that's why
played
it's
the
like
shit out of
CFDs
that
early.
game.
I definitely think that Rogue, because it was just like a weird reskin of Black Flag, was also pretty good.
Yeah,
Maybe a little
Shay's
shorter, but
story
Rogue
was
and Shay.
definitely
Yeah,
really good.
I think that if you take away the gameplay because it was just Black Flag with ice, if you just look at Shay's story as a concept, would be really good to make more games of because I really do like that. Like what is it even? Like he doesn't really fully trust the Templars even, but he doesn't really fully trust the Assassins.
Yeah, he's that weird like neutral kind
Yeah,
of. But yeah,
and
he's
so-
playing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that games like that for Assassin's Creed really would do better, or maybe a game where you could pick. You know what I mean? Like pick
Yeah,
the
a
route
game-
that you wanted to take.
Yeah, although that would be really difficult to do.
Maybe.
And honestly, with their new formula, I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, like you
Because-
look at games like what's that one electricity game in Infamous, and like the whole game
that
was
like, a
designed
good
around
superhero
like
game.
the whole game was designed around fucking making decisions of good or bad, and I definitely
Yeah.
think that
Yeah,
instead of good or bad, you could just make decisions for assassins or Templars. You know what I mean? And like, there's plenty of games out there that let you make like choices. I
Yeah.
guess. So it's like I
Wasn't
mean, it wouldn't
that-
be the worst thing.
No, because Batman didn't. Well, okay, what came first, Infamous or Batman?
I would assume
Infamous,
Infamous.
yeah.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
what I'm
Infamous.
thinking, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think they were the lead in like kind of those kind of like genres of games.
I think that Batman though definitely is one of my favorite superhero games. I think that though on the same kick,
Which Batman?
it just Batman like the Arkham series, like in general.
Okay, the
all of
Arkham series.
Origins was
All
the
right, all right,
weakest
all right.
one of the take, but like Knight and City were my favorite. I think Knight just is my favorite. I think Arkham Knight takes the cake from me because I really like the way that Batman looks in that one. Because I
Right?
really
Yeah,
I
Arkham Knight looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. I just revisited the game recently on my PlayStation, and like I fall in love with it every time.
well, like, dude, the gear just looks like more realistic, I guess, even though it is totally fictitious regardless. But like, you look at like Arkham, and he's wearing like his like like
Yeah.
skin tight Batman suit, right? And there's not
Yeah,
any
his
like
big old
armor.
ears.
Yeah, and then but you go to like all of a sudden you're an Arkham Knight, and like you can see him move and flex his chest, and like the piece, like the chest piece, like compresses and stuff, and like it looks so much better. And I'm sure they did that because of just like graphically or like engineering wise, like it might be harder to do that stuff earlier on, you know, and they just had more
and they also
capable-
probably had more funding for that.
yeah,
to be
that
honest,
too.
so.
You know, so like all around just more money. I'm not saying the Arkham games were even bad because they were really good.
Yeah, they were insanely good.
But another, I think that who made the Arkham games?
A Rocksteady.
Rocksteady and Insomniac deserve a lot of praise.
The Spider-Man games were also really fire.
Really,
Yeah, I think Insomniac just like the publisher head. I think that's what they were.
I
think they- I
thought
think
they
they had a
were. I
few-
thought
I
they
think
were
they had-
developers too.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm thinking about
I'm
that
looking it
more
up
now.
right now. Yeah. Was it
But,
PS4?
yeah,
Yeah,
It
Spider-Man
was,
PS4, and then developer Insomniac.
Dev was I mean, I
Publisher was Sony.
Sony always there, I guess, but I really like that. Like but at the same time, like I understand why it might be different or difficult. I mean, to make a Superman game, because the thing about like Batman or Spider-Man is that the movement that the heroes take is a lot more grounded, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because like Batman still needs to zip line around the city to get places and chase people down and do that stuff just like Spider-Man does. But if you had like Superman, like Batman still can get shot and killed, right?
Yeah, he is a
And
person.
so
He
like
has to
there's
use his tech.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spider-Man
And like
also has like a limit to his powers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so does Batman. You know what I mean? Like, and so like you have like an actual danger when it comes to like fighting thugs on the street, because like Spider-Man can still get shot and killed, just like Batman can technically. You know,
Yeah.
but you know, whereas like you play like Iron Man or Superman, and like you imagine trying to do Superman missions where you're just going around the streets, like in Spider-Man, just looking for criminals, like it just wouldn't work because like, you would have zero like issues.
Yeah,
with
because you're
stopping
Superman.
criminals. Yeah,
You're
it's like
Superman, yeah.
they're gonna hit you with a bat. It means nothing. They're gonna shoot you. It means nothing. So like
Yeah.
you know, I get why they probably want to always avoid those heroes, because like you know it just like is too much. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Um,
there's no way to get defeated.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think a
Unless, like,
Flash
I
game would be
know-
cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah, like in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to think of those really good ways of how do you balance that character out? How do you make the gameplay fun? Like, yeah, in Spider-Man, what you had at the beginning of the game, yeah, you just had the thugs, and then once you start progressing through the game and get all your gadgets and gizmos and power-ups,
Yeah, like the
then they start
demons.
throwing in like yeah, demons. Demons were a really good impressions.
They're not actual demons. They're just like
No,
those people
no,
with that
yeah.
like
Just-
black light superpower.
yeah, negative
thing.
energy.
Yeah.
or
Mr.
whatever it
Negative.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the big brute guys. Maybe sometimes the brute guys had the Gatling guns, and then some of the thugs now have weapons. So you have to do an uppercut or an air combo, and like it takes a lot of thought process just to make something of a simple idea enjoyable for like someone to play.
Yeah. And
Speaking.
go
you
ahead.
you
No,
go.
No, you
No,
go
no,
ahead.
I'm
You go.
going to
Okay.
continue off and into a different avenue in a second.
All right. I was gonna say, and speaking on the topics of games that, like superhero games that I wish existed, Doctor Strange superhero game would be pretty fire.
I think they could do
ask
some
the
mind
same
melt
thing
shit all the
every
time with that.
fucking day.
Absolutely.
A Doctor Strange game would be so lit.
Yes. it
oh
would.
my god.
You know what game is gonna be really good? I feel like we talk about games every fucking time, but I guess that's a fucking nature of the
We're all
beast.
nerds.
Yeah,
We're,
right,
we're all
right.
we
If
all
you,
we
you
all
know,
know each other from a video game. So
Yeah, deadass. We're all on a TeamSpeak right now because we use that to play games. Atomic Heart comes out the end of next month,
Oh
and I
my
am
God,
so
yeah.
ready for that goddamn game.
What are you
oh
getting
yeah.
it? Did you
I've
buy it
heard
or are
of
you
it.
getting it on Game Pass?
I'm getting on Game Pass just because
I'm doing the same thing. Game Pass is really
I mean,
God.
Game Pass is kind of clutch. I definitely have to say it definitely comes in.
Yeah,
in
most
play here.
consumer friendly thing to ever exist for video games.
I
so
agree.
far.
I mean, like it really does give you a lot of access to a lot of shit, and you get to pay for online stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's like both your, like if you have an Xbox, getting Game Pass is like a given. You know,
Yeah.
and even the new Xbox, I think they released at a loss because they were banking on making more money through Gamepad, which I'm sure they are. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
it
such
probably
a great
yeah, Game Pass is just probably
clutch.
yeah, it's the best marketing strategy for like gaming in a while.
Yeah, pay $15 a month, get the install and play, kind of just whatever Xbox owns, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fucking. And I know
I mean,
Sony
for
tries to do something
it's very
like it, but it's
consumer
just
friendly.
really not. Yeah, it just doesn't hit the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, it's all really good. I wish Steam did something like that.
Yeah, they have
Steam
Steam
has
sales.
sales,
They have
yeah.
sales.
They're just like,
Have you seen their have you seen their markdowns?
It's true. It's true.
It drops like a $60 game
$6
dropped to like $3 or something.
and
yeah.
you're like, well, I can't deny that, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I can't
just,
deny it.
I mean, Dead Space remake also. I mean, all the games coming out, I think, are really good. I think that it's weird that we've been in such a lull in like game development, because I feel like every time a game is released, it's like, okay, what are the problems with this fucking thing, right? It's like, great.
Yeah.
What's the problem here? Because I know there's a problem. Tell me the problem, and we'll just fucking move on. But I feel like all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, all of a sudden you're looking at these games now where, like, even though there are a lot of games still that are kind of like that, not excluding, like, what's that game that we talked about in the very beginning? Whether you're, like, the girl with the super magic.
Oh, Forspoken.
Yeah. Where, like, there's definitely games still coming out like that, but, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the Dead Space remake is looking at success. A lot of games we talk about today are just hitting, like, extremely successful marks very quickly, which is very weird. Top of TV shows, too. I mean, like, The Last of Us TV show, I've already seen it contracted for another season, even though, like, it's been out for, like, 2 episodes. Maybe 3.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well,
I
I
don't
mean,
watch it.
It's, from what I've heard, it's extremely good,
Banging. And, like, but it's very similar to the game, but then also not at the same time. Loki, have you watched it?
Watch what? Sorry.
The Last of Us.
I have watched The Last of Us.
You're the only person
they're
here
doing
that's watched
a good job so far.
See, yeah, better than Halo show.
Halo fans are they're trying to take anything they can get that's good quality now. Yes, but when people say that they don't make good TV show adaptations for games, I kind of get iffy about that statement, because it's like, there is good TV shows out there. You just gotta look. Like, yes, we all know Halo was a big flop. No one really enjoyed it. Review side, honestly, I don't dabble too much into Halo. I think Halo is a really cool, like, lore-filled, like, game and everything. I play it here and there. Like, I just got my buddies that have never touched Halo to play it, and they're like, "Oh, dude, this game's fun." But like, the story of John in that in that show, I get the idea they're going for, but I don't know if the idea was quite there.
No, I'm a pretty heavy Halo fan, and I think I watched the first, like, a little bit of the first episode, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Problem...
When Master Chief ain't no Master Chief anymore, he's just gone.
The problem with giving those shows to people is that you're giving it to writers that either haven't played the game or don't care to play the game.
Exactly, right? And in Last of Us, you'll see when you watch it, if you ever do, that, like, literally the scenes they produce are literally just the game. Like, and it's good. That's what people just want.
Like, one-to-one iterations.
The adaptation. That's
like,
what they want.
Not really a spoiler, just because I guess it's a one-to-one adaptation. You remember when Joel first meets Ellie, and Joel lays down on the couch, and she's like, "What are we doing?" And she's like, wasting time. You know what I mean? I don't know. Did you play Last of Us, the game?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess it falls short on that one. But yeah, I mean, like, stuff like that. Like I literally have on Instagram and stuff seen, like, the game and then the show, and it's almost like they do different things though as well. Like, it's not just the game made into a show, but at the same time they do touch on the same thing, because it is just a reiteration of what already is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and
like,
to be honest, you don't have to make it something that's already happened. Like, what's the Uncharted movie? That was okay.
Yeah,
It was
honestly,
pretty
like,
good.
yeah, like I love Uncharted. Like I'm almost about to get a tattoo of my favorite quote from it, "Sic Parvis Magna." But I, yeah, the character dynamics is like, it was like they kind of mixed up Sully and Nate, but I honestly, I couldn't really, I couldn't complain about it too much. Like,
No,
just,
it was like fine. I really did enjoy. You know, I watched it and I was like, yeah, that's cool. You know,
Yeah.
I don't really have much feelings for Uncharted though. I played them and I thought they were cool, but like I kind of just left it at that. I was like, okay, cool. You know, hey, nice. And then moved on. But I mean, dude, I get it. I feel like Nathan Drake is kind of just like Tomb Raider dude,
yeah,
which is cool. Just because like I think Tomb Raider is cool. Those Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider movie, meh. Tomb Raider games that came out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I actually just recently started playing them because I've never played them.
They're pretty good,
when I was
man.
young.
They're
Yeah,
pretty
they
good
were
because
actually pretty good.
they really touch on something about like Laura Croft's story that I think that has kind of been overlooked is the fact that in the Tomb Raider games, like the newer age ones, she's not like ready for this, right? Like she kind of got into it. I think the very first part of the first game, she's in a boat that gets hit by a tsunami, so it flips and it washes her up on shore of like an old Japanese island. And she has no idea what's going on, but she just like, and the game does a really good way of telling the story where she is just kind of like doing her best and rolling with it, because she'll get like stabbed and she doesn't know how to actually help herself, so she's just doing what she can. You know what I mean? Like I think it does a really good job. But then all of a sudden you play like Loki, you'll play the more like latest game in that series, or I think it's maybe a trilogy. I'm not really sure, but it's like
I don't
games.
know what they were.
Whatever. But the more recent of those games, you'll all of a sudden notice that she does know how to do things now.
Yeah.
It's like, I think they do a really good way of telling the story where she doesn't know what the fuck's going on to like, she's the Tomb Raider. And so like, it's a really nice development that even like, honestly, Uncharted doesn't do much, because I feel like Nathan Drake is always Nathan Drake. And there's a whole different reason that I like that game.
No, I agree, yeah.
But like Nathan Drake always stays Nathan Drake, right? It's not like he's an improving character. I guess though, because the more recent one, he like matures.
Yeah,
Does he
so
not?
yeah, like you said. Yeah, no, that's pretty much his whole character was throughout the series. Yeah, he never knew how to change as a person. He was always the greedy man that wanted to always find treasure and not care about anything else, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then Uncharted 4 came out, and he's finally like woken up. He's like, wow, like I need to live my life. I need to settle down and just live life. Like this is not. I can't do this forever.
Yeah. And then, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, bing, bing, bang, boom. Oh, yeah, it is a trilogy, Loki, by the way. It's Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I did Shadow. Yeah,
Shadow's the more, like, newer one, though, and she already kind of knows what the fuck is going on. That one's cool because she'll cover herself in mud and shit and, like, kill special parts. It's dope. Anyway, but no, I mean, I really do like seeing it in improvements. I think that it's just, I don't know why I saw it on the Steam store, so I started to talk about it. But it's just like, you have these really cool games, though, that do come out of like the woodwork sometimes that are just like fucking amazing all of a sudden. And I don't even know where they get the idea from, because I feel like it's just kind of like all of a sudden it's just here. Like the Hitman games, even too. Like, have you played the new Hitman games? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I've not done it in VR though. I don't really own.
You don't want
too
to.
much.
It's not good.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not good. The VR ones suck.
All right. I figured.
Yeah, the VR versions are not as good as.
It's just like when I see like gameplay of like Payday 2 in VR. I'm like, this is weird. Like,
dude, big news that I didn't write down nor remember trying to like talk about is Rick and Morty guy is not a thing anymore.
Oh yeah, dude,
the guy who voices them is not like there anymore. Like he's fired from High on Life. He's fired. He quit. You know, Jesus.
Yeah,
he didn't quit. He was told to quit.
Yeah. It's kind of like one of those Disney situations where an actor does something, or it's just like the Johnny Depp thing. Like
he
Johnny
got
Depp
dropped from everything, and they're already like replacing voice actors right now.
Yeah, like dude.
I feel like the new seasons of Rick and Morty are gonna be like weird.
Of
I
course,
think they're going to be better writing wise.
You think
yeah,
so?
like for real. Yeah, when it comes to like movie industry stuff like that, it's always crazy. Just like when those allegations hit, you just can't
Done.
associate yourself with your yeah, you're done. You have to do your stuff before we can come back to you. Like they already offered Johnny Depp like his position back, and he's like, I don't remember where he stands anymore now. But
no,
I knew
they wanted to bring him back
Yeah.
after the allegations and stuff back to Pirates of the Caribbean, and
he say
like.
no?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said no. He's like you'd have to like offer me literally
Big time.
ownership of the actual franchise
Yeah.
to actually, do that. Which I mean, to be fair, like if, after you get screwed over by a company, like
Well,
I mean,
they're just so
honestly-
willing to like drop him.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
be like,
well-
okay, bye.
The problem is like with movie industry, like with that, you have to be that way.
Well, like there's
Especially
like 3 or 4
after,
companies though that stuck with him though. They were like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but
Dior.
like the big companies like Disney and stuff, and especially Warner Brothers, like those companies have to do that because of the Weinstein situation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like after
That's
that,
reasonable,
they realized real quick like this is how we have to do it. We have to like remove people if they get bad raps.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
what if in an alternate reality, Johnny Depp did do horrible
Yep.
things. Now
his name.
Disney's associated with it, like
yeah, right.
it's
And then
just
they
such
look
a-
worse. I get
yeah.
it. I get it. Well, dude, I mean, yeah. I don't know.
it's so weird. Anyways, earlier we were talking about Superman, right?
yeah.
Of course, we all know Henry Cavill's no longer Superman.
Yeah, highly
Sad.
unfortunate.
Then he
Sad.
wasn't. Then he wasn't.
Well,
Was,
what happened was he was told that he would be by I believe it was James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was told that he would be, but upon later contemplation, I guess they said no.
Elected not to. Yeah.
All right, but of course, with him now removed, he's trying to open up new avenues and try to do some new stuff. Dante, I know you really like Warhammer.
Trust me,
know...
I already know what you're about.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
already
already-
well aware of that.
Okay.
I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
I
Henry Cavill's thinking. I haven't really updated or seen any new articles about the situation, but he thought about making some kind of.
No, he is. He is.
Oh, he is?
Like
He
this.
is.
Yeah.
He is
With
going on
Amazon,
Okay.
I've never heard anything about the like progress of this situation, but it is with
Currently
Amazon.
working on it.
And
Yeah.
he is making pretty solid demands of like he has to write it and he will like work with the team. Like it's not Amazon making a Warhammer movie with Henry Cavill or show or whatever. It's Henry Cavill with Amazon. So like Henry Cavill is making a massive standpoint for Warhammer, and like I am fucking obsessed.
Yeah,
with
he's apparently wanting to make a Warhammer cinematic universe.
I would,
Yeah.
dude, love that. I would give my
I'd be
heart and
with it.
soul to be on that fucking show, even if I was a dude that got killed in the first 13 seconds. I would love.
Dude, he'd
love,
be like, sign me up
love.
for Arcadia. I'd stand on that planet.
Dude, I would fucking dude.
Stand
Even
on that
even if I was a guardsman or something, you imagine being able to wear like actual made armor and have like a las gun like that. Like, you can't keep obviously, but like you're given. You know what I mean? You get to wear that shit. That would be so fucking awesome. Something I always thought about too is the way that they could do Space Marines is not actually make them bigger, just use force perspective to make them look bigger. Because trying to make it like in a movie, make someone look, a quarter of the size bigger than a normal human being and like huge
it's wonky.
is goofy. Like you watch like YouTube shorts where they try to do that and they like put a guy in like Space Marine armor that they made. They look just too big, and Space Marines are big, but they also move like they're not big. You know what I mean?
Like
So
they move at Mach speed or something, right?
and so
Like,
they
fucking sprint.
they might as well be naked in the way that they can move fluidly with their armor. Like their armor doesn't constrain them, their armor extends them. And so like I think that building the armor to make it actually fit the person and then just making it look like they're bigger is the route that I think they should go, because it's just going to allow the actors to actually move at a reasonable design. You know what I mean? So they're not like clunking around.
Yeah, realistically, unfortunately, I think the thing is they're probably going to go with CGI for that.
And dude, that's fine too. If it is, that's fine. Because you know what, I think CGI now has really hit a point where it does look fine. Like CGI for like Tony Stark's armor, that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, it's pretty
well,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was honestly Disney makes some good like CGI like breakthroughs when they have like a good dedicated team that can communicate with each other. But of course, we've also seen in like other films, sometimes there's just certain companies that like get together this whole big team and then they don't communicate, they
Yeah,
don't really
they just drop
talk.
the
There's
ball.
no like, and so then
Yeah.
CGI looks funky or wonky. So like
Well,
maybe this dragon in the scene looks cartoonish more than realistic for what they were going for.
it's not just communication in that point. It's budget and release date.
That's also true.
Uh,
That's a huge play too. Yeah.
the way that the pipeline works is VFX is pretty much the last thing that goes through.
Hmm.
They are pretty much the last people that get to touch the movie. So, like that's why nowadays, like what'll happen is, especially like with Marvel and like all these other uh, VFX heavy movies, they'll hire like 14 different VFX studios rather than just one.
Yeah.
And so, because each one is working on a different scene and they have to get it done by this time. And if they were to do that on one studio, they would have to like take that studio and just work for it for another like year and a half
Right.
rather
Yeah,
than just like
like-
the 3 months that they get.
Interstellar, when they made the black hole scene, it took them like weeks, almost a month
Mhm.
long to just render out a scene for a black hole they made in digital space. And it's like, what?
Oh yeah, no, tons of films have that. What is it? Infinity? No, not Infinity War. It's the Endgame, the final battle or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that
yeah.
one
That's
took
insane.
another like that one also took like a month to render,
Yeah.
like
I
fully
know,
running
and-
like
but
on computers
I
at the
I
all
hate
time.
that they put constraints on it because it's like that is the stuff that I think people see first. Even though it's the last thing that they do, it is the first thing people see, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially coming from like me who's actually like deaf, like I can't hear everything, so like the audio, you know what I mean? Like but I see Iron Man. You know what I mean? I see his suit and I see like everything that they do with it, and I think that if Amazon trusts Henry Cavill, this is a big thing. If Amazon just lets Henry Cavill, like if they give him an amount of money and say make a Warhammer show with this, he will do it. I have total faith in him to do that. You know,
He's definitely a nerd. So
yeah. I mean, with like The Witcher, because like the reason that The Witcher did so well, I think, is because people, I don't think, realize how much Henry Cavill fought writers in The Witcher to make it operate the way that it should. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It like The Witcher's success is, I mean, not just on Henry Cavill, but I think that he really put a good step forward to making The Witcher actually work properly.
Yeah.
Because like he's the one that went with the medallion choice. And you know when he did the sword fighting thing,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot of his own personal input about how Geralt fights. And
Yeah.
so like he helped so much, and I think that if Amazon just kind of lets him go, you know what I mean, like work with the team, listen to Henry Cavill, Henry listen to the fucking directors and what they can do, and here's the amount of money you have. I am almost assured that the Warhammer universe will do well. I think that unfortunately Games Workshop is probably going to be the only person in that's going to get in the way.
Yeah. Ironically, I think Amazon, out of any publisher, for just in general media, I think they're like the best at letting things be the way they are.
I agree. I think that the things that Amazon have done have, even for good or bad, never really give Amazon's input.
Yeah.
It's not
and
usually.
I mean, like, especially look at like The Boys and Invincible, like those two shows. If they were done at like Disney or like any other publishing service for those like that media, those shows would not be the way they are.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely
would
for
not.
real.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never even thought about that because like Invincible for one season, I wish they already came out with more. They need to.
Exactly.
It's coming.
Right?
It's
And you
coming
just
this year.
want it more.
Oh,
yeah.
It's coming
End
like
of
very soon.
2023.
Yeah,
I
very
just
soon.
but Invincible is such a good fucking show. Like my mother hates that stuff. She doesn't really care. She loved Invincible.
You suggested Edge Runners to your mother.
She watched it. She watched it.
Suggested Edge.
She
That's
watched
what I
it.
said too. I was like, you suggested Edge Runners?
Dude, I think
my
I
mom
think
likes
my
it.
mom's head would explode if she saw that.
No,
Like,
my
I'm
mom
too.
just is not.
My mom is pretty young in
Yeah.
like thinking, so she's always kind of kept up with stuff like that. Like she watches like
That's
she
dope.
watches the new shows. She doesn't really like care like I do. Like she'll probably watch the Warhammer show when it comes out.
Oh, that's dope, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
she has no probably like massive interest in it, but she likes shows like that. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from, but
Yeah.
well, like I said, like she likes like Invincible. So like if there's anything like Invincible or any like animated thing that I really enjoy, I'm pretty sure my mother will too. And unfortunately, my father passed away, but like I'm sure he would too, even because like I'm just a fucking product of their interests. So fucking
Yeah. But Amazon's always been great about that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever watched, but Vox Machina,
Box
a
Machina?
good show. Vox Machina.
Vox Machina.
Vox Machina. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
no, I haven't.
I don't
Okay.
think I've heard of that one.
Oh, all right.
VOX.
Oh,
Vox Machina?
wait. Is that the one about
The
What's
Legend of Vox Machina?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So it's
Oh
a
yeah,
whole
it's about
animated
Critical Role. right?
Yes.
Oh, no
so
shit?
You do know kind
Yeah,
of
it's
what it
about
is.
Critical Role.
I
Yeah,
know
just
Critical
had to, like,
Role.
think about it for a
No
second.
shit.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
actually have a
whole-
series now.
Yeah, they're on. Okay, so Critical Role's on season 3, right now of their campaign of their D&D,
Uh-huh.
and Vox Machina was season 2 of their campaigns.
Is it the same voices?
Yeah. All the
Oh,
characters still have
no
their voice
shit.
actors. Okay, so Critical Role is like it's a whole D&D thing.
Yeah.
For nerds.
I think
So-
well, Cross is really into that stuff. So like if anybody
Hell
listens to
yeah.
our last episode, Cross talked about D&D and this whole fucking shebang that's going on with them and their bullshit. And
Yes.
Critical Role and how they're taking it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about the movie that's coming out with that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hit or miss. That's
I
for
think it
sure.
might be cool. I'm really into nerdy shit, so I think that I'll enjoy it just as like the
As-
relative concept. Of
Yeah,
If it's got good sound, I'll listen to it.
All throughout high school, I played D&D with my buddies. We did all kinds of weird shit. We did like Star Wars D&D campaigns, Colonial Marines, or just regular old just fashion D&D fantasy shit. But yeah,
Mhm.
Vox Machina, just like the development of it, it was supposed to never be an animated series. But when people started watching their videos on YouTube of their campaigns, and were like, "Oh, all these funny people were like funny with their characters," because all the characters in their show and campaign are all just voice actors. They're all just funny people. They're all just hilarious. And Matt Mercer being, of course, the
Matt
DM.
Mercer,
yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's the voice for like McCree and a whole bunch of other funny, goofy characters throughout the film
Not
industry
McCree,
and game
not
industry.
McCree. It's
Oh, Cassidy now.
yeah,
Cassidy,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah, different
Yeah,
guy,
call him
different
McCree.
guy,
No,
sexual
not
Different guy,
allegation.
different guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the show only exists because of the fans, because they put out a like Patreon thing, and it just got millions and millions of dollars just put into it, and then they threw the idea Amazon's way, and they're like, you know what? Why not? Here, we'll even recommend a team for you to like make this animated series a possible thing.
You
And
know
it
what?
happened.
I really do enjoy that. I think that animating things that have already happened in that context is something that YouTube like has always held on to, because you'll watch things like, I don't know if you guys know of Adeptus Ridiculous, but it's a Warhammer podcast that a lot of their scenes, like where they're making jokes, get animated by like just random people. And I think
Oh,
that has a
yes.
large market for like
yeah.
people who live watching like Critical Role. You imagine watching Critical Role and not just listening to them, but like seeing these things happen. Like,
Yeah.
dude, when we're done here, I'm gonna go watch that before the out today, because I'm fucking
yeah.
really excited. I just ordered pizza. So I'm about to be big.
I mean, that's that can be extended to like back in time, to be honest. Like
Absolutely.
that's why
Like Red versus
that's why
Blue.
like they yeah. And then also what is it? The Harry
Yeah.
Potter movies like too. Like you're
Yeah.
reading a book, but like develop it into a movie, it becomes like a massive franchise
Dude,
because everybody's like
yeah,
now
like
just
Marvel,
loving it.
dude. Just the simple old comic book series is now a fucking film industry. It's this whole cinematic universe of its own. It's just
Exactly.
crazy to think about.
Yeah, I fucking do. It's so good. I
Yeah.
really, I mean, I don't like Amazon at all. I want to put that forward. Dante hates Amazon, but
Hashtag Dante
yeah,
hates Amazon.
down
Get in the
with
comments.
Amazon. I don't like
Get in the
Amazon. I
comments.
don't like Amazon at all. I think that they're scummy. Anyway, but from what you guys have said and what I've seen about Amazon's production of things like The Boys or whatever, is doing pretty good. And it might be because they just have so much money that it's like they have fuck you money where they're like, okay. Because if it goes good, they make a lot more money. If it doesn't go bad, they don't really care about the $1 million.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe that's why they're able to do this stuff where they're like, oh, yeah, no, go ahead. And they don't really care because regardless, they're going to be making money, or if they lose anything, it's like, you know what I mean? So, like, they don't really care what happens because, so, like, which is good, though. I think that letting artists actually make their vision with just a like lump sum of money probably helps develop many things, because like even games like the people in Last of Us petitioned to Sony to get funding to remake Last of Us 1 because the PlayStation 5 allowed them to do what they originally wanted to do. Because even though the part 1, and for anybody listening that is on the edge of playing part 1, I recommend it, even if I'm not going to, because part 1 allows you to experience the game the way it should. Because the AI will try to corner you. They will try to attack you or act against the thing you're doing. Like if they notice you're using a shotgun a lot, they'll stay at range. If they're, you know what I mean? Or if you're doing a lot of melee or you're really good at that, they will act against you, which is something that, the PS3 or whatever, 3? Yeah,
PS4.
couldn't have done. PS4.
Wait,
was the game on PS3?
I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure it was like
Last
early
of
days
Us
of PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on PS3.
Yeah, so it's just what the PS3 couldn't do. Because the AI didn't have thinking, as well as the fact that the PlayStation can facilitate more. You know what I mean? And like, dude, the PlayStation 5 is fucking dope. I don't play a lot of games on it, but like Hogwarts Legacy, I'm going to get on the PlayStation. It's fucking awesome. Like the haptic feedback on the PlayStation is really cool.
Yeah, consoles
been
have always been cool about that.
If you die in the game, it injects poison into your wrist.
Oh no!
Die
Yeah, no, just like hardware-wise, yeah, like the Xbox, the new Xbox, and the PlayStation 5. I don't know what the new Xbox name is.
Okay.
I've always been a
Series
PlayStation
X or
kid.
something like
Yeah.
that. Whatever, because there was the XS, whatever. But yeah,
It's
the new
crazy.
Xbox, the new gen, yeah. I mean, dude, I can play games on 4K on my console. You know what I mean? And like, that used to be unheard of for the longest time.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. I mean, I'm really glad that games have kind of made a pretty good stride in the best direction, especially because Xboxes and PlayStations are becoming more available to people now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of wrapping that hour 20 mark now. Jesus Christ, we've been talking for an hour, almost 30 minutes. So.
Let's
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
Let's
Hey.
continue. I haven't finished my talk about sound yet.
please, no, continue. I mean, if there's anything you want to bring up, like,
there's a lot to bring up. What in general do you guys have any questions about sound? Because I can answer those.
Thinking about it, like so back to like what you do in the unit, your sound design contributes to what exactly? Like, why are you doing this?
The sound effects for like the vehicles and weapons. So whenever something is triggered, like let's say you shoot your gun or a vehicle starts moving forward or it turns on the engine, it triggers a sound effect, which is what you hear. So like that's why you hear an engine come on. That's why you hear it like judder forward. That's why you hear like the gun blast, That
mean,
is
like,
all
and, like,
triggered from what the player does.
what sounds then have you contributed to, or then are contributing to, if you can even like?
Yeah, you have the
So far,
AAT so far, right?
yeah, so far currently it's just the AAT I've done.
Now that was really good work. When I heard it and Canon posted it in the Discord, I was like, "Holy shit! It's an actual AAT sounding like gun now. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just some wonky like produced sound. Like oh my."
Yeah, so right now we're doing that. That one has a couple still problems I want to fix, but
Mm-hmm.
beyond that, I'm working on the LAT right now,
Nice.
and I'm also working on the TX-130.
Are you redesigning the whole
What
lat
is the
sound system, or
TX-130?
like
Yes, do you want to
that's
hear
a tank?
'em? I've got the files.
If you wanna actually, instead of playing it right now, if you wanna send it to us, I can
yeah.
have the boys in the background, which honestly appreciate them, love them, because without them, none of this would happen. They can feed it in, so they want to just
Yeah, here
pause
I'll,
the
I'll,
audio and play
I'll
it. Yeah,
send you,
send it to me. Send it to Loki if Loki wants to listen to it right now. I'll leave it and then have them feed it in.
I'll send you one which is going to be the impulse when it's like active.
Okay, so yeah, you are just redesigning the whole sound system,
Yes.
aren't you?
Yeah, I'm
That's
redesigning
dope. I'm
pretty
excited
much
to hear
every
it then.
sound. Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right.
Where are you in my
Not to
DE?
complain
We're
the
not in my
lats sound
DMs.
bad now, but they definitely, yeah, like when I heard the new AAT sounds, dude, I was like, oh, you know what? I prefer this a lot more now. Like this is
Yeah.
okay. I'm
Yeah,
alright with this.
you never like think about it until you actually hear the difference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely. I mean, like, yeah, I guess I wasn't even really aware of stuff like that. Like, you kind of just like hear it because you hear it, right? Like, you're kind of just like, oh yeah, that's a thing, but you don't really realize
Yeah.
like that takes somebody to do like work. Huh.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why to bring it to back to movies for a second. That's why I didn't like the new Avatar is just the way the sounds were done, specifically in the water. If you go back to the underwater portions, you'll hear that it's slightly like it's not muted enough for what sounds like it's underwater.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's like just it doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right to me, and that's what took me out of the movie. And I started thinking about like the actual story, and I'm like, there's problems here, here, and here.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to make a movie that doesn't have anything that somebody can pick apart and say this movie doesn't work.
Gosh.
And
You just
that,
saying
like,
that makes me think of like, yeah, like of course that's probably this is what the career you want to be like getting into. Of course, you are working on a degree for it. It's just
Yeah.
like once you start knowing how things work, you're like, this could have happened actually. Like this could be reworked. It doesn't really
tons,
ruin
yeah.
things for you, but like you can really tell it now.
Yeah, and another like movie that I've had problems with is Bumblebee, the new Transformers movie.
Oh, yeah?
Like a lot of the things that happen in that, they have like these. It's very interesting if you look at behind the scenes. A lot of what they did for Bumblebee's sounds was on like a car door.
Oh,
Like they literally just ripped off a car door and like banged other metal against it to make like the sounds of like Transformers beating each other up.
Yeah, well, like, wasn't the other sounds they used? They actually took time to like spend on like the sound design of like the older Transformers movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. For what's interesting is especially the transforming sound, like the whatever
yeah.
that shit. They had to have a composer
Optimum
make
Prime.
that. Like somebody had to compose that. That's a musical piece
Oh,
rather than an
Dennis?
actual sound effect, pretty much. Yeah.
someone had to really go, you know what? If I do these two instruments together, I now have a robotic noise.
Well, it's that, and then it's also like it's more of like they grabbed a bunch of instruments, added metal into it, and then like garbled it up together.
Just start up your PlayStation there.
PlayStation startup noise.
PlayStation startup noise. Yeah, that's interesting though. I never knew that was actually
Yeah,
composed.
Jesus. The HDMI cord fell out, and I plugged the HDMI cord just back in, back in.
Oh my
and my
goodness.
computer was like, "Oh, you want to be on your PlayStation now?" And I'm like, No, I don't. So if anybody has a PlayStation, it's not yours, it's mine. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's,
It's just like what our first episode. We heard the Discord ping or whatever.
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
dude, it's you live and learn. Sue me.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of sound design,
Yeah.
that's a sample of the PlayStation 5 sound. If you're curious.
Yeah.
That's a sample. Actually, it was a sample. I was not on my
yeah.
PlayStation.
I was gonna.
I was
say,
testing you guys to see what
I was gonna
see.
say the TX 130, the engine for that is gonna be my washing machine.
Let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to make so many jokes during ops about that.
Oh yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah, it's gonna be hilarious.
Do you just like walk around your wherever?
Yeah, no,
and
my
just
life
kinda,
is
like,
torture. My life
make
is
shit
actually
up?
torture.
Like, that would sound cool.
Well, no, yeah, that's exactly what, dude. The only thing that really sucks about the world that I'm going into in this industry is that is exactly going to be my life from now on. Every sound I hear, I'm going to be like, that could be this, that could be that, that could be this.
Yo.
Well,
And-
like, dude, I mean, like, that's kind of the nature of the beast, though. I mean, I would always kind of err on the side of, like, that's preferred, because at least, like, that adds to your, like, awareness of it all. You know what I mean? Like, because,
Yeah.
you're actually doing a good job if you can actually, like, play sounds.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Especially if you can play sounds, actually.
if you guys didn't know, the sound industry is very, very specific. I'll tell you right now, there's a good portion of people who just make the sound of a car door closing, and they actually pump that into your car. Like your car door does not actually sound like it does when it closes.
Yeah.
That's somebody that made a car door sound, and it plays whenever you close the door.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the same with vacuums. Vacuums could right now actually be almost silent, but people believe that the louder it is, the more powerful it sucks. You know?
Right. So,
So-
Okay. There's a whole marketing behind. Okay, I get you.
Yeah, so that's why all these sounds exist. That's why like muscle cars are so loud, is because mostly that's not most of the engine. That's mostly just some like a sound being played for
right.
the car.
That's crazy to think about. I guess you never really,
Yeah,
put
you
that
really
into
never think about that.
perspective
Yeah,
of,
I
like,
think we're both like a little mind.
like
blown there.
you buy a muscle car and you hear it turn on and like but like I think that's God, that has to be a massive percentage of why they buy them, if not
Yeah.
almost the what I mean, like you buy it and like the designers definitely 100% spend time on making it sound like it sounds.
And on the opposite spectrum of that, on the inside of the car, now what they're doing is they're so good at insulating the higher frequencies that police cars are now having to get subwoofers to blast the siren through the street into your car.
Yeah, I actually have heard about a few things about that. Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I've experienced it over here in Florida, like that.
Huh.
That you definitely feel it. You can feel the siren as it comes closer to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
get the fuck out of the way, Hey.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
Lord,
yeah.
Lord knows
But that's the
anyone
point,
is
is,
gonna ever
like-
hear a vehicle or pay attention while driving. Why would you pay attention while driving?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the point, is like, because now vehicles are so good at insulating the higher frequencies, it's almost impossible to hear a siren unless it's
Yeah.
like right next to you
Yeah.
in
And by
a
the time
police
it's
car.
right next to you, you gotta be,
Yeah, and
schmoving.
you've already got to be moved.
Yeah. That's crazy
Yeah,
to think
that's-
about, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the
It's
sound
weird.
sound has changed almost everywhere you think about it. Like in movies as well. Again, pretty much everything except the dialogue is placed after the recording, like after they recorded that visual.
Huh.
So like if you see a coffee cup sliding across a table, that sound was added post. That was not like in the actual recording. They only record voices on the actual day of filming.
Mhm.
No shit.
Yeah, so that it's a lot more respect to like movies now. To be honest,
It's such an interesting thing. God, I never even like came close to realizing that that's like a
yeah, everything is just
Wow, I see what you really mean though. That like this starts ruining your thought process.
I can,
Yeah.
because now,
My
now you
gosh.
think about it, like, you know.
Now you think about literally every sound. Like I can think about my keyboard clack, like the
Yeah.
clack on my keyboard. That is a different sound to me than an actual keyboard clack. That can be something completely different. That could be machine gun fire if I want it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That is
dude. I
insane.
spent a lot of time trying to look for the keyboard that I wanted, dude. Because
Yeah.
like I don't know
Mechanical
why.
or
Yeah, like
limber.
Personally-
tactile and all that shit. Like yeah.
Personally, I went with a low profile keyboard, which is the most perfect thing in my mind. I just love it.
Just get
it's
yourself
got
a 25% keyboard. You'll be alright.
like
I've always wanted
WAS and D.
I can't. I've always wanted those like lower profile ones without like the numpad.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just I don't have a ton of space on like my desk where my like monitor is, you know.
Yeah.
So like it would be really cool. But dude, I use the numpad for Arma so frequently because like switching
Yeah.
radios and shit. It's
Yeah.
such like a useful tool that is gonna be gonzo if I do that. So
Personally,
plus they're expensive.
keyboard, yeah,
They
the
are
keyboard
the
I
expensive
currently
part.
use is the G815 by Logitech. That's a low profile and it's got like a full keyboard. But it's so good. I love it.
Are you jamming?
Hmm?
Who's playing music?
I'm not playing music.
No one's playing music.
I think you've heard something.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're going crazy, man.
I think you're going crazy.
We're gonna hear in the audio recording now.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever random music.
Fucking
He's
Jesus, I don't
here.
even know where that's coming from because I don't even have any music apps open. What? Schizo moment?
Yeah, schizo
maybe.
moment,
Dante
apparently.
schizo moment for sure.
Dante schizo moment.
Unless it's
Dude, trust
playing
me.
through my phone because I'm messing up my
Um,
headphones right now. Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, whatever. It's not playing anymore. It's fine. Schizophrenic moment over.
No, trust me. I've had those moments
Or-
where you like, or you think someone's saying something to you, and you're like, "What?" And there's just nothing there. And it's just,
Or-
Those are audio hallucinations. Those
yeah,
are-
for real, for real. I'm like, oh, what?
But the reason we have those is because your brain actually gets bored. So your brain, especially at nighttime, this is why like at nighttime you'll
Hear
get
things.
paranoid,
Yeah.
especially when there's nothing going on, because our ears are so used to having sound in them at some level that like you just that's why we get so peculiar at night. Is like when you hear something that's just slightly off, you are instantly up, because that was a survival mechanism. That's how we learned to hear, is because we hear something that's just slightly out of place, like a twig breaking or like just a creak or something that
Yeah.
instantly sends us into like on your guard mode, get ready for something.
Oh, dude. I mean, yeah, there'll be times like the house that I live in is pretty old. And so like when I have the air on at night, it'll creak. And like the creaking, there's a vent right above my door or like a passway or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what it's called. Anyway, point is that it will make my door in my computer room go like, boom, you know, because like, it'll push on my door, like the pressure change will like,
Yeah.
yeah, and like it just actually happened right now, and when I'm up and about, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But when I'm trying to go to bed, dude, and I hear that from like across my house, like even because I sleep in pretty much silence,
Yeah.
I am immediately like, someone's trying to break in. I'm about to die right now. My
Yeah,
dog's
that's-
still asleep, and I'm like, you fucker.
That's why like horror movies are so really like they make your bones chill sometimes, is because when you do the sound for horror films,
Mhm.
sometimes what they'll do is they'll take frequencies that the human ear can't hear and put it just out, like they just put it right outside your hearing range.
Oh,
So
I've
it's
heard
it's
about that.
your body can still feel it, you just can't actually hear it. So that's why you get unsettled in like very silent portions of the movie sometimes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Posting is fucking music connoisseur-y. That's the title of this one.
Yeah,
Post the music connoisseur.
Yeah, even though I haven't talked about music whatsoever.
Or the sound connoisseur, yeah. Sorry. Fucking, dude, enlightening conversation. Post.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
no.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt, I think that talking to you has opened my eyes to some crazy stuff that I didn't even realize was like a thing.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
The way that like sounds are made, there's that you can go and change anything. Like you can even change the reverb of a sound. So like the way the sound bounces back into your ears. Like you can change that to a completely different sound from the original sound. So like if you wanted to, you could have like a baby crying, and then like when the sound is bouncing off the walls coming back at you, that's like a demon or something.
Yeah.
Like it can be completely different. It doesn't even have to be part of the original sound anymore. That's how powerful sound is at this point. You can just do whatever the hell you want.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. But gosh, I mean, we could wrap it up. I figure I appreciate your time, Post. Of course, Loki, always thanks for kind of helping out. Thanks for coming, Post. I appreciate your time, brother.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks. You got any final last words? You want to say anything? Words of wisdom by Postal?
Go listen to your favorite movie again.
Yeah, and have an
no visuals, just listen.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for listening. Everyone have a great day.